Well, the things we ask people to do in the name of live television. I'm joined now in the cold and the flood by Mark Robbins of the RSPB. You saw him in our report a moment or two ago, and also John Hebditch, who currently farms, or at least we're told farms, 70 acres currently underwater. Just briefly, how on earth do you farm?
Well, we've got a bit more than 70 acres in total, but the 70 acres is our cattle ground. It's our summer grazing on the levels, and it's all underwater. It's under about 6 foot of water at the moment.
Okay, well, let's start from the point of view of agreement. RSPB, tempted to say, even the RSPB are saying we should go back to dredging these dikes and these rivers here.
You know what, the communities around here, the farmers around here are determined they're going to get through this and things are going to get better. We're going to stand with those farmers who are asking for that dredge to happen right now, as soon as possible. So on that particular dredge, we're absolutely with the farming community and the communities on the ground.
So basically the farming comes first and the people come first, the birds come second.
Well, it's not like that around here. You know, there's so much farming that works with nature. We've got a nature reserve 2 miles down the road from here called West Sedgemoor. It's a fantastic place, giving all sorts of nature a home. And you know what? It's farmed. It's farmed by farmers, animals down there. They're all about looking after nature in this part of the world. Right.
So when the RSPB says, John Hebditch, as they have, that farming should change around here, there should be more giving up land, taking it out of farming for wildlife refuges because it's become unfarmable, and farming practices need to change with changing climate, perhaps. What do you say?
Well, for a start, I don't think they actually said that, but secondly, we've been farming down here now for at least 25 years under Triple SI and various other natural England schemes. We don't want intensive agriculture down here. We actually want to be able to farm in the traditional way. And that means not having your land inundated by 6 foot of water every other year, or in this past 12 months twice in one year. So yeah, we could have a bit of agreement with the nature people, as we tend to call them down here. And I think I'm very relieved actually to feel that we're all coming from the same place.
And it's absolutely, you couldn't put it, I'm not getting any sense of discord between the two of you tonight, but there are people who say, and there are people within the RSPB who are saying that farming practices need to change in some way. We need to take more land out of farming in these areas.
I don't think so. I think what we're saying is change is coming. I mean, if this weather carries on, we've had 2 winters like this now, haven't we, John? If this carries on, you know, we're going to have to look at a bit of a change. And we're looking to adapt our own nature reserve, which I said is farmed by farmers, animals. We might have to face change.
What could that look like in 20 years' time then, if this is a trend that continues?
Well, I hope it's still farmed, because that's a special part of this part of England, you know, where there's special quality meat which comes off these special grasslands. You know, when my boy was 6 or 7, we went down onto West Sedgemoor and he was dancing in fields of hay meadows full of marble white butterflies and cattle grazing around in the fields next door. It's such a special place, and we can fight for that and make a better deal for it.
Right, but John Hebditch, do you buy this idea that simply by going back to what we did 20, 30 years ago here, dredging the dikes, dredging the rivers, this that we've seen couldn't happen again when we get rainfall like we've had?
I don't think it's a question of making it flood proof. I think if we go that far, we're looking at economics and social change far beyond the sensible sort of level. What we need to do is to get those rivers dredged. Once those rivers are dredged, they'll carry more water away, so less water will fall on the moors, and we could be back to the old days when we had a winter flood, which was a splash over flood. It wasn't to many feet deep, it was 6 to 8 inches deep, and then it goes away. What we've done at the moment is we've lost control. Now, obviously nature...
But how have we lost control? Because this is a controlled landscape, isn't it?
Absolutely, and they're not controlling it because the water is coming out of the rivers.
Who's they?
Well, I've got to point my finger at the Environment Agency because they've been given...
It's their job, fair enough.
Exactly. And traditionally, we would have had water out on the moor. It gets pumped back in at the first opportunity. So our ground on the moor, which grows, as my colleague has said, beautiful grass, rearing beautiful cattle, right, but it doesn't grow under 6 foot of water. So we need to get back to the situation where the rivers carry a bit more water away in the first place and are more available to be pumped into the rest of the time. We can't do anything about the weather.
Indeed, but it has to be said, Mark Robbins, this is putting an extraordinarily precious area for bird life and wildlife under extraordinary stress, because this isn't normal, this isn't natural.
No,
so do you too blame, does the RSPB point the finger at the Environment Agency?
Well, the Environment Agency do what government tells them to do, so I think we need to look up the line here. You know, they're the servants of government. They've got a limited amount of money and they have to do what government tells them to do with that money. Well, I think we've got to make a stronger case for Somerset.
Someone somewhere, be it government, be it the Environment Agency, took a decision to stop dredging. That was wrong. I think there's unanimity, right?
Yeah.
On these particular stretches of river, something has to happen.
Yeah. They're man-made rivers and they're man-made landscape. And if man stops managing it, it reverses back to swamp, basically.
Right.
So for both wildlife and for farming, we need to get back to managing it properly.
Okay, gentlemen, we'll have to leave it there. Thanks very much. Well, there you have it. Conservation and modern farming in absolute harmony, and a clear message for the Environment Agency and beyond and above that, the government. Back to you where the government lives, in London.